In this video, I'll be proposing a new School of Architecture and Built Environment for QUT. The proposal, which is located at River Stage, heavily responds to its urban and macro context, as well as a theoretical framework addressing issues of post-COVID design pedagogy, radical inclusivity, Indigenous culture, heritage, and placemaking. The render on the bottom shows the main building to the right, a proposed engineering faculty workshop to the left, and you can see how it sits in relation to P block featured in the background. So in the engineering faculty site plan, you can see the main architecture building at the top of the site. You've also got a workshop pavilion down to the south of it, sitting on the ridge, P block to the left of it, and also Y block, which houses the Indigenous students at QUT. I have proposed a new campus to country master plan strategy, which extends upon and closely ties the existing master plan together. Pictured here is the western and northern elevations of the building, as well as the material palette that I have used. I've tried to stick mainly to natural materials such as timber, in particular cross-laminated timber, also brickwork, and also other materials such as glazing, polycarbonate shading devices, and concrete. This palette not only engages natural materials, but also closely follows the QUT design guidelines. And pictured here are the eastern and southern elevations of the building, and diagrams on the left showing the application of the materials chosen in the palette. After exploring the materials a little bit more, I then went on to develop the form. As you can see at the bottom, there are some process sketches that showed the thinking behind the final design. To the right is a structural diagram showing how the CLT has been utilised, as well as a structural glazing system that sits on the outside of it, followed by the application of polycarbonate facade panels. These materials, along with some landscape materials, can be seen on the render on the top of the panel. So this is the floor plan on ground zero, showing the communal spaces, in particular the flexible lecture theatre to the right, flexible design studios, a student hub, terrace landscaping, and an indoor garden. Also seen to the bottom left is the proposed engineering workshop. Level 1 is the first level of the learning and teaching spaces, all of which feature 2 computer labs, 3 design studios, 3 theory classrooms, and on this level in particular is the mezzanine level sitting above the flexible lecture theatre. We've also got the continuation of the terraced amphitheatre. On the learning and teaching floors, the computer labs and the design spaces are quite flexible, particularly with sliding doors that allow the spaces to open up and close. This allows for more flexibility, especially, for example, if there is a whole cohort level who are occupying the spaces, and if the sizes of the classes drop, for example, another pandemic, or you get to week 11 and you're a bit tired, don't want to go to class, then it allows the classes to gather together and it doesn't feel so empty. Level 2 follows a pretty similar layout to the previous, with the exception of a terrace breakout space sitting on top of the lecture theatre to the bottom right. And you've also got level 3, which has a pretty similar layout. On this level, you have some more voids that look down and provide views to the grounds below. Level 4 is one of 2 of the staff levels. This level in particular houses the HDR labs, HDR student spaces, a staff kitchen, and outdoor breakout and meeting rooms. Level 5 primarily houses the academic staff. You can see here that there's staff workspaces, more open than the current ones that are available, in the aim of fostering a more collaborative work process. You've also got some academic staff offices for the head honchos, as well as a variety of meeting rooms and outdoor breakout spaces. This panel shows 2 section cuts going through the building. The 3D axo diagram to the bottom shows the atrium space where it's cut through, and the varying spaces such as grand open spaces as well as more small confined spaces. Also seen in the sections is how the site sloping down has been addressed. So in section 2 on the right, you can see the cut through the lecture theatre space, as well as how the landscape has been integrated with the existing landscape. So the first framework that's been addressed in the design is the Indigenous Heritage and Landscape. So in response to the framework, I've adopted a planting palette that features native Australian plants, particularly those that are native to the area. Another strategy is incorporating bodies of water within the site, which responds to the water systems and the water bodies that once existed on the stage site. Framework 2 adopts some post-COVID pedagogies in design, especially open learning as well as team teaching where there's multiple teachers in a larger class setting. The flexible lecture theatre that can be seen here is perfect for this framework because it can accommodate varying sizes of classes as well as promotes open learning and a more collaborative learning process. Framework 3 adopts Indigenous cultural practices. This is quite broad, and some of the practices include only removing the materials from the natural environment that you need and preserving as much as you can. This can be seen here through the render where the tree has been preserved through the structure of the building and it's been framed by the natural materials of the timber. The building, through its spatial arrangements and open environment, provides opportunities for conversation and storytelling, a lot of which are oriented towards significant landscapes, including the Brisbane River and Botanic Gardens. The framework of the design addresses radically inclusive spaces, particularly for people with autism and other sensory disorders. In this design, I've provided multi-level spaces, such as spaces above the atrium that allow people to view from above and give them a sense of control. In contrary, I've also provided small nooks or cubbies for people to retreat to if they ever have a sensory overload or they feel they need to withdraw a little bit from society. The third one is also clear wayfinding towards entrances and more transparent spaces. This is particularly people with autism who might have anxiety, as it provides the clear passageway to help reduces the chances of sensory overloads. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening, and please enjoy this short video in lieu of a 3D physical model.